Hello everybody, AJ Ryzik here, and today we've got our review of Xubuntu 15.04. Now I am running the beta 2, and seeing how we're only about a week away from the official release, figured, hey, it's close enough to the official release that other than maybe some minor bug fixes, they don't have enough time to do anything else to this distribution. So we're way past feature free, so essentially what you see here is what you're going to get with the final release. And looking back at my review of Xubuntu 14.04, I was a little bit disappointed in that there really wasn't anything new. We we were seeing the same old stuff that we had the past few releases. We had been stuck on XFCE version 4, 410 for what, like 2 years worth of distributions. Well, a month or so ago, we finally got the official release of XFCE 4.12, and all of those 4.12 updates have been applied to this release of Xubuntu. So while it is the same applications and plugins and whatnot, everything has been updated to the latest releases, and lots and lots of improvements. Now, a fair number of the improvements are kind of under the hood. You're not going to see them as much. Something that the casual user may not notice, but they are there. I'm going to do this review a little different than I normally do. What I will do here is I'm going to start out here. We have basically a stock configuration of Xubuntu 15.04. I'm going to go through features and all that kind of stuff, and then I will pause the video and come back, and I will essentially show you if I was going to run this as my main distribution, how I would set it up. Doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be what works for you. But at least it might give you some ideas of things you can do, that sort of thing. So with all that being said, let's take a look at what we've got here. Now, I was looking at the at Xubuntu's website and their release notes and all that, and like I was saying, with the update of or the release of XFCE 4.12, all of these different packages listed here have been updated to their latest version. Thunar, our file manager, Tumblr, the window manager, the panel, all kinds of stuff. So, and most of these, they weren't major changes, but a lot of those nice little tweaks that, it's that final 5% that makes it, an awesome application or an awesome distribution. Kind of starting with the panel. Panel, it doesn't look any different than it normally does. One thing they have added is IntelliHide, and if you go to your panel properties, or panel preferences, under the option here, automatically hide the panel. I've selected the intelligently hide. You can have it never, you can have it always, however you want to go about that. But when running IntelliHide, now when I drag a window close, boom, it goes in, and the panel disappears. But if I go and move my mouse up there, boom, it returns. So very nice feature. Something that we've seen on some other desktop environments in the past, but I'm glad that they added it. It's a feature that a lot of people like. Let me move this out of the way. So we've got that added to the panel. In our file manager, we still have Thunar, once again updated to the latest version. Now, one thing I really would like to see in Thunar is a dual pane. We don't have that, although I have read, and I haven't had a chance to try it out, but I have read about how somebody created, I guess you could consider it a patch for, or maybe an extension for Thunar, so that you can add a dual pane feature. It's something that I really like in file managers, and I get ticked off at the Gnome team every time I open up GNOME files for getting rid of the dual pane feature. But anyway, I wish that we had that, but we do have tabs now. So let's say you got your documents full. We're looking at our home folder here. We want to open up documents in another tab. Just right click it, open in a new tab. Boom, you got multiple tabs now. So very nice feature there. Thunar has always been, while it doesn't have a ton of features, it just simply works everything. There's never any issues with Thunar, and it's actually fairly easy to go and add extra features or extra functions to Thunar. I'll tell you what, I'll leave a I did a video not too long ago on adding some actions and various things to Thunar. I'll throw a link up on here if you want to go and check that out. One of the applications that was reworked is Parole Media Player, which is the default media player that we have here. And let me open it up here. The UI was completely redone in GTK3, and that's sort of an something that we're seeing in XFCE 4.12, and I think we'll see more of it in 4.14. Is the moving from GTK3 or GTK2 to GTK3. Some of the applications like Parole, the UI, like I said, redone in GTK3. There have been some plugins added to this application so that it's more friendly with a bigger variety of media codecs. A lot of under the scenes or under the hood kind of things that on the outside you don't really notice, but function wise really helps out this application. Another application that has been updated is, let me go and pull it open here, Mousepad. And once again, this you really don't see the changes from the outside, but we are now GTK3 compliant. A lot of little bug fixes under the hood. Once again, we have a lightweight application that has got a simple set of tasks that it does, and it does them very well. There has been a lot of improvements in our various categories within the settings manager as well. Going to appearance, we still have style, icons, font settings, that sort of thing, but now we get a preview of the various color schemes right here. So you get a little bit of a preview there, however you want to go and set it. Of course, you can still go and add various color styles as you like. Same thing with icons. We get a little bit of a preview here. Coming here to fonts, while this is fairly simple for font settings, it gets the essentials done. And then coming here, we get a toolbar style, how we want our menu set up, that sort of thing. Under our desktop, now for those of us rocking multiple monitors, if you would like to have different wallpapers on different monitors, you can now do that. Let me go and I'll enlarge this just a little bit. You can see you got this apply to all workspaces button here. If you go and uncheck that, as to move this dialog to display and workspace you want to edit the settings for. So for this monitor right here, we could go and let's say we change it to that. Well, and of course you can't see it because this is the only monitor that I'm recording, but on my other monitors they have remained the same. Of course, you could go and click apply to all workspaces, and then that change will take place to all the workspaces. But very nice little feature for multi-monitor support. And speaking of the monitor, if we come down here to where it says display, much better multi-monitor support. So when you are using multiple monitors, it's really easy to set up, what's your main display, what's your secondary, the resolution on each individual one, how you want them laid out, all that kind of stuff. So very nice on that as well. Another change has been in the Alt Tab window switcher. Traditionally you click the Alt Tab, you scroll through the open windows so you can pick which one you want to work with. If you come here to Window Manager Tweaks, there's a couple of different ways that you can have this cycling show up. There's skip windows that have skip pager or skip taskbar property set, include hidden, cycle through windows on all workspaces, cycle through all windows in a list. So right now it's set for a list, and let me click Alt Tab so you can see it. Okay, so you can just get a nice little list there, and it kind of blues out whichever one has been selected. So very nice on that. Well, let's get rid of the list, and now we'll do the same thing, and you see we get this kind of brown or grayish dialog box. And draw frame around selected window when cycling, we can get rid of that if we want to. Include hidden, skip windows have skip pager, all kinds of different options there. So it kind of gets back to that whole, that last 5 or 10% of things that really make it a nice desktop environment. It's the little things like that. Okay, so that kind of covers everything that I want to talk about, what's new and all that kind of stuff. So I am going to pause this video, and then I'll come back in a minute having set up the desktop the way that I would like it set up if I was going to be running this as my distribution, and I'll talk a little bit about the changes I made, and we'll go from there. Okay, we are back, and you can see it looks a whole lot different here, and there's a lot of changes underneath the hood, and I'll just try to hit on everything real quick that I changed. And like I said, this isn't necessarily what's going to be best for you, but if I was using an XFCE desktop, this is how I would set it up. First of all, you can see I went with the same desktop background that I've got on my main desktop, just ported that over. That was easy enough to do. And then up here on the top bar, I've made it transparent, and then there's a whole bunch of other stuff that's been added. Let me start by, I moved the date to the center, which is where I like it, and let me go and open up the panel settings so you can see how you do that. So moving stuff around, that's easy enough. You can either right click on something and click on move and drag it to where you want it, or you can use the up and down buttons to move various things around. Now I've got to get it centered, you want a separator on each side of the date, and let me open up the separator and get the properties. You want the separator set to style, of course transparent, and then click on the expand, and what that does is it fills up the space between whatever indicators over here and then the indicators that are over here. Now whereas before we had the for our indicators of our running applications, they took up a whole lot of space last time. To conserve space, I went with the DocBar X plugin, added that, and now I just get an icon for all the running programs, and if you hover over it, you get a little drop down. And like, say for example, you had 3 instances of Firefox open. When you would hover over it, it would list all the instances of Firefox. So I like that plugin just for the fact of how much space it saves you on your top bar. Coming over here, of course, that's our mail indicator. We still got the sound indicator. I have added Synapse for launching applications, so that now, rather than having to go up to the main menu and searching through there, I can do a control space bar, type in what I'm looking for, and boom, it'll pull it up. Of course, that's still our internet indicator. That hasn't changed. I added caffeine, which, if you're not familiar with the caffeine plugin, when activated, it will prevent your screensaver from kicking in. So I like using caffeine when I am doing these video castings, just because if I'm not moving the mouse around, I don't want the screen to go to sleep on me while I'm talking. And there's other instances where it's useful as well. You know, if you've got something that you're reading online and it's going to take a while, you don't want the screensaver kicking in. Since in XFCE the calendar that drops down here, since that does not interface with Google Calendar, I have added a Google Calendar indicator right here. Just click on that and it'll list all of your current Google Calendar events, and then you can go and add new events, add new calendars, that sort of thing. Of course, we still have our power indicator right there. So that's pretty much everything that I've done along the top bar. And I'll go over to the menu here and I'll show you what I have added here, and probably using the menu is the easiest way to show everything. For mail, Thunderbird is what comes by default. I prefer Geary email, and you can go and look at some of my previous reviews of Geary. For lightweight mail clients, it's my all-time favorite. So I've added that. Let me go down to internet. In the internet realm, I have added Chromium for my web browser. Of course, I also added Dropbox for syncing my files. I didn't get rid of Firefox, and I always recommend having two different browsers, because there's times that you may come across a website and it doesn't render worth anything in Firefox. You fire up Chrome or Chromium and everything's fine. Or the opposite may happen. That's why I always recommend having two web browsers. So I added that. Down here, probably, where is it going to be listed? In system and settings, I'm not sure. Anyway, I added Synaptic Package Manager as well, because I absolutely detest the Ubuntu Software Center. So good place here to this is just the way that I prefer to go and install software. So you can type in what you're searching for, boom, you got it, and all kinds of extra functions that are added in here that make working with your software and packages a whole lot easier. And let's see, here we go. Where was I? Under Office, I added the entire LibreOffice suite. Now, by default, Xubuntu comes with AbiWord for word processing, GNumeric for spreadsheets, and both of those are fine programs. For probably 95% of people, AbiWord will cover whatever you need in the world of writing. Write letters, write an essay for school, all that kind of stuff. Being that I am a writer, I need something a little more feature-filled. And LibreOffice has gotten to the point where it, especially on the writing scene, it is the equal of Microsoft Word. And it has taken some time for that to happen, but it's there now. And I pretty much will use the entire Office suite. A lot of people will not. It just depends on your needs and that. Of course, I already mentioned adding Synapse for launching my programs. If you are a doc kind of person, there's a couple of different docs that you could add that are in the Ubuntu repositories by default. There is Plank. I'm trying to think of what some of the others are. Let me go and open up Synapse or Synaptic Package Manager and take a look at what's available. Of course, I already mentioned Plank. There's CairoDoc. That's a pretty popular one. Docky is a very popular one as well. KDocker's one. There's, as you can see, there's a variety of options there. I am not much of a doc person, but either Plank or Docky, even CairoDoc. CairoDoc's got a lot of features, but if you just want something basic and easy to use, I would go with either Plank or Docky. And I think that about covers all the changes that I've made here. Like I said, it may not be the way that you'd want to set this up, but maybe again. Oh, one other thing, I almost forgot it, and that is Skippy XD. All right, let me go and I'll open up a bunch of windows so you can see what Skippy will do. Okay, so I got a couple different windows open. Skippy XD, it kind of, in some ways, it mimics the effect that you get in, say, the Gnome in Gnome Shell when you hit the when you would hit the window key. Yeah, I've got mine set to. Unfortunately, can't just do a window key with it, but I can do window X. If I click that now, it goes and pulls all of my open windows into this kind of layout, and I can either go and select a window via mouse, or you can do it with the up and down keys. Very easy. And then just select what you want to go to. With the new window switcher feature, probably not, you can go and do the alt tab thing now, and it's fairly easy to go with. So just kind of one of those personal preference things. But I just thought I'd add it on there so people could see it, and hey, maybe that's for you. Anyway, I think that about finishes things up here. As always, leave comments, questions, all that kind of stuff down below. Give us a big old thumbs up if you enjoyed the review. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe, and I will see you on the next review. Thanks a lot.